week his predictions were wrong. So fair enough. He wants one good shot. Let's go over to our casters, Jaws and Legday, and move into map 3.
Hey guys, we're already on your screen. Wasn't Sam talking, but we are here. Yes, me and Legday. We're about to get into Hanamura this time around. I did kind of hope we'd see Horizon, but it was never going to happen. Not when Nico, like Des adequately put it, popped off on the Genji last time around.
Yeah, we're not going to go to the moon, and Eagle Gaming, they got a pretty nice plan for Hanamura, but do Copenhagen Flames have something better? Because, of course, this is their map pick. So maybe they've watched what Eagle Gaming did last time and know, okay, Nico's going to get a lot of support. Maybe he's going to be able to do more nano blades. How are we going to shut that down? Maybe we'll bring in a Sombra, maybe we'll bring in a Roadhog, or we're just going to make sure that Chubbs is just on Genji 24/7, just giving him the Tesla treatment.
Well, looking at the series thus far, it seems like maybe Flippy plays the Sombra. Maybe we're going to see some of that crazy, goes in with the Sombra, just hacks away at the Diva, and then Nico has a free time on the Tracer. That seems quite an adequate proposal as well. But Copenhagen Flames, they had this map choice, like you said. They've clearly got something up their sleeve. I reckon they're probably going to focus down Nico, him and Nox, and we talked about Nox in the pregame, actually, and we said, this guy overextends a little bit. He's a little bit too aggressive. Sometimes he goes in, dies first. But this time around, he is a very keen boy. But this time around, actually, him and Nico had perfect synergy on diving on backwards targets. Are they going to jump off? They're probably going to jump off the map. Yeah.
With me, so.
I know. I get excited as well. Because I was like, Nox on Bastion, they're coming out the gate. We're going to see Hip on Symmetra as well. The first time we're seeing that, that would be a lovely day. But unfortunately, it's not today.
It would be a magical day. Unfortunately, it's going to be a pretty much for Eagle Gaming stock day. It's going to be the Tracer and, of course, the Widow coming out from Flippy. But Copenhagen Flames looks like they're going to be bringing out some tanks. I wasn't really expecting this from Copenhagen Flames coming in, but it's going to be Naga picking up the Zarya. And, of course, with this much health, it's a little bit more difficult for Flippy to get that much value out of a Widowmaker, especially going up against Chubbs' shield. Going to take a while to break through that.
Yeah, exactly that. Who is he going to really one-tap here? Marine Lord, Poppy Fresh, Dretro. They're all very, very mobile. When you see a headshot on a Tracer from a Widow, you're like, whoa, that's insane, because she's so mobile. There's no way he's going to do that to Naga. There's no way he's going to do that to Chubbs. They're just going to force their way in here. It's going to be fairly easy to put a lot of damage down to that shield, but actually getting through it is going to be another question. Poppy Fresh already finding his way to the back line, leaving his mark on the wall as well, just to make sure everybody knows he was there.
Indeed, just the scout here as the Pathfinder is going to be telling the remainder of Copenhagen Flames about big meaty ball as to where they're going to go. And already Chubbs coming in with the engage, but Marine Lord and Dredro in the back are already down. They're going to be down on healing, and that's going to be just a huge ult back straight off the side, boys. Don't feed it over to Eagle.
All right, Flippy just dings Dredro in the head and say, okay, the push is over. Please reset and go again. Nico's already up to 70% on that pulse bomb as well.
Indeed. Now, Chubbs, Naga, and Hika, they need to be very cognizant of where their supports are. You need to get that sort of... You need to make sure that Flippy can't get the angle onto Dredro, can't get the angle onto Marine Lord, because if they fall early, you just like... About 2,000 HP worth of free ult charge there for Eagle Gaming. And now it's going to come in once again with a speed boost.
Yeah, they're going to pump up the volume to the back line, but a stick will land onto Heiko. It's actually going to force the D-Mech there. So another really big opening here. Nico, target prioritization, just looking for the tanks more than anything right now. Flippy trying to get some cheeky shots through that window. Heiko is always going to build up fairly quickly, but without that big, beefy mech in the front line, it's going to be a bit of an issue.
Indeed, he's just trying to get that ult to get back to square one, but Flippy's already taken out Poppy Fresh, and that's a large amount of the DPS already down.
Yeah, although swinging away as Chubbs, just not protecting his backline for the time being, and Get Amazed just use that as the entry. Does find Naga as well. Not the biggest, not the best matchup for you, but they're going to look for the reset anyway. They're just claiming a few extra percentage of charge.
I think Chubbs may have charged Nico off the side because he died in the same sort of time frame. So you're feeling pretty good about that as a Reinhardt, but you're not feeling pretty good about this as a Copenhagen Flames fan. Half of their time has already elapsed, and now they've got 2 minutes to play with. Very few ults in the bank. Marine Lord coming through with the coalescence. Naga's going to have to build up towards this Graviton Surge.
Yeah, a bit of a different approach this time around. Nox is actually going to receive that nano boost. He's in the back line. Poppy Fresh actually gets slept, but he's right on top of a Transcendence, and off you go. Although he did get the recall off, actually. I didn't see he had that one at all. Nox is going to help and make sure he doesn't get anywhere near the point, however. And once again, Copenhagen Flames making use of their time, shall we say. Just jumping off the map, resetting over and over again.
Well, at least they're very cognizant that they're not going to be feeding that much support in terms of the amount of large tank HP pools that they have towards Eagle Gaming. However, However, they're still going to be sitting on 3 ultimates on the side of Eagle Gaming, both of their tank ultimates, and of course a pulse bomb from Nico, which can absolutely blow this one open. He's going to be looking to see when Naga uses these shields. If he sees Naga use that self-shield, he knows that the Graviton's available. Oh, and Dreedro's already down. That may well have been sticking this one before it ends. I
think it will do just that. Dreedro picked off once again by Nico, and look at the ultimates from Copenhagen Flames. They don't really have an entry at this point. They've still got one member they need to actually make sure gets back to their team. Naga taken very, very low by, it looks like, a headshot actually from Flippy. They're going to find a little bit of time on the spot, on the point here, but a quick retreat here and a quick cycle from Eagle Gaming, and they should find their way onto the point as well.
Absolutely, but Chubb's already losing a lot of his shield health. He needs to get onto here and start accruing this percentage. It's going to be Poppy Fresh there. Oh, and there's an Eaton grab from Get Amazed. Amazing play there from the French Diva.
Yep, Barry's going to get laid down as well. Poppy Fresh in the back line trying to take out the Widowmaker, but there's 2 supports with him as well. That pulse bomb is available, but he needs to find the correct target. Has focused the tanks more often than not, but Hib is making sure he does not get near the point, nowhere near those tanks. Sacrifice myself rather than my big meaty shields, but that point is almost on that first tick. Ticks over just now, 10 seconds remaining, and Nano Booster Diva. Shatter comes down as well. It finds Get Amazed. That might just be the opening that they needed. They're trying to boop him off, but he's unrelenting in his assault. Does end up perhaps like a garden share, and that will be Copenhagen Flames finally secure on the first point.
The flip is there, but he's not going to be keen to get in. He's going to be quickly retreating back to the second point. And now Poppy Fresh is going to be surging forward. They don't want to give Eagle Gaming any time to breathe, Jaws.
Cool, Eagles do breathe. I'll let you off on that one. A very loose tie-in.
They do respire. That they do.
I took
A-level biology.
I was about to say I took A-level biology. I'm not going to discuss what grade I got in it because might get Tridd's treatment. I don't want people to take the mic. But Copenhagen Flames, they've still got that pulse bomb. Poppy Fresh needs to make an opening here. Nico's actually changing over to the Genji this time around. Pipu, not too much of a surprise. See him on the Ana.
And now we're going to be seeing Hyped. He's going to be able to choose when he brings in this Transcendence. Already Pipu's down now, so now all of the healing is going to be on Hip. He's already falling low. He's got a little bit of pressure on him. Will he decide to use Transcendence? There it is.
The prioritization as well from the supports. They had to open that Transcendence on the point to make sure everybody stays alive. A big bomb from Heiko. That self-destruct, D-meching, Get Amazed. That's a whole lot of tank not available for them anymore. Now Copenhagen Flames, they're going to take priority here. They've actually got Flippy on this Junkrat now, raining death from above, but he's just going to get taken up and torn apart by the tank. Nico opens up with the Dragon Blade. That's 2 kills. Easy clean up for him now. He dashes up to there. Poppy Fresh. He gets his revenge, and that's a 3K.
And we asked coming into this, is Nico going to get the double pocket? No nano required, George. Just a Harmony Orb and a Blade and a Dream as well. And now we're going to be seeing Eagle Gaming. They've used up most of their ultimates, but they're coming close to a couple more. They've got both their tank ultimates coming up and Flippy almost with that Riptide. And the Riptide is incredibly important, Jaws, because you can get a solo pick-off at the start of this, likely Dreedro, maybe Naga, and that can absolutely sink the push before it even begins.
Only one big support coming up from Flames in a couple of seconds, and that's Dreedro's Sound Barrier. There's the Riptire. Where's it going to land? Who does he want to prioritize here? Look at Nico on the sidelines pushing everybody into that tight corridor. Flippy, he's looking for something. A couple of seconds left, but Flames with the prioritization on it are going to be able to disengage. Naga is in a little bit of trouble, but the Sound Barrier will keep him alive for the time being, although didn't actually receive it because that bubble spit it up. A 1-for-1 trade. Marine Lord falls. Nico's going to fall as well, but Naga in the prime position is going to be able to lay down a lot of fire. But look, Flippy on the Widowmaker is going to be able to snipe him out if he's not careful, and that's an instant dive from the tanks. And Naga's just going to have to go for the retreat.
And Nox was a real hero of that. Naga was never comfortable on that high ground because he was always thinking, is Flippy going to snipe at me? Is Pipu going to snipe at me? And of course, he couldn't get that sound barrier, as you pointed out, from Dreedro, because Nox put down that all-important shield between Dreedro and Naga. He got split off. He couldn't get the sound barrier. He was incredibly vulnerable, and he just couldn't get out there and brawl with the extra HP.
We've seen so many teams. Marine Lord, unfortunately, going down. Flippy finds him out of the spawn room. 1:25 on the clock. They've still got a couple of pushes left in them. I'll carry on my train of thought rather quickly as the fight will probably break down in a couple of seconds. The amount of time we've seen teams with the prioritization of the Soldier and the Zen just setting up on that high ground seems immovable. Flippy's got the answer to that, and that is Widow.
Absolutely, you can play the distance here with Widow. You don't need to make sure your tanks are getting up there, because when your tanks go up there, they're not able to contest the point, and that's when you start losing ticks, like we've seen Copenhagen Flames get this one just here. Dreedro's a little bit far away from that Valkyrie, though. It's going to be, oh, okay, Poppy Fresh, get out of there, son.
Oh, dear, one member down now, and the Infosight's on board. Copenhagen Flames need to make a decision, but the decision's already being made for them. Nico's Blade is going to be the answering cry. Chubbs and Heiko fall off the edge, and Nico cleans them up with the Dragon Blade once again.
Alga standing there and accepting his fate. He's a brave, brave man. Drop the blade, son. Drop the blade. And now Flippy, he's got some really aggressive positioning here. Just as they come out of spawn, they're going to be eating some sniper bullets, and they may need a Widowmaker of their own to try and counter this out, but likely we're just going to come in a little bit more of a sort of speedy approach, courtesy of Tridd, who's had to swap right again to the Lucio. They've had a short-lived foray onto the Mercy, going to be worth naught here in the final standings.
They've got Tactical Visor. Oh, they instantly go for Flippy, but he's still alive, even with a Discord orb on it, and he's got an Orb of Harmony just to make sure he's up. Double Transcendence coming out. There's the self-destruct. Getamaze trying to just evade for as long as he can to remech. Naga in a bit of an odd situation, actually trapped on that health pack, and Nox just pays him a visit with a Primal Rage. Hipster can actually get taken off the edge as well. They've taken a healer down, but remember their spawning is a lot shorter than Copenhagen Flames. Nox is going to be able to get the Primal Rage on Heiko as well to secure the mech kill, but they're still contesting.
Perfect Winston mechanics here from Nox. Now Chubbs, well, his last vestiges of health are going to be draining down. Marino gets onto a point with the Sombra using the translocator, but down goes Overtime. It's almost down. Will anyone get there? No, they will not. Copenhagen Flames held with 1 point and 54.4% to their name. What can Eagle Gaming do in response?
Naga switched onto the winner the last couple of moments there as well. Just give me my glory. Takes out Pipu, but it wasn't enough. They only get 1 point and 50% of the point taken as well. What do Eagle Gaming now do on the offense here? I mean, realistically, just put Nico back on the Genji. It's his most comfortable hero. Pipu's doing a very good job of keeping everybody alive as well. The Ana seems like a no-brainer to me.
Absolutely. If you can get the Ana and the Zen up on that high ground along with a soldier, and then just watch Nico go to work on the point with your tank line, that would be a pretty effective attack on Hanamura point B. If you've got Nox, Getamaze, and Nico, just sort of the A team on the point, they're sort of doing their own skirmishing, and then Pipu, Flippy, and Hip on the top, with the healing raining down the damage from above as well. If you have those two teams, it's very hard to try and coordinate a defense if you're already on the back foot. But of course, first we have to punch through point A.
That they do, and Copenhagen Flames actually opting for a strategy that Eagle Gaming are quite fond of, running that Ana on the defense. Tridd is going to be piloting that one, along with a full roster of almost dive. It's about 50-50. Naga's going to be actually on that soldier this time around, just to make sure his supporters stay alive, and he stays alive as well with that Bionic Field.
And as I mentioned for the point B attack, the same thing occurs here for Copenhagen Flames. We've got to make sure that we see Marine Lord, Tridd, and Naga all stay together, buddy-buddy system. They're keeping each other healed up, they're keeping each other supported, making sure no one's falling by the wayside. They're not getting picked off as they start to separate against these very mobile characters.
Yeah, it's quite a terror to deal with as well. When you actually nade yourself, obviously the healing is increased, and you put that Bionic Field down, if you step out of that, you might die, but probably not. Like, there's just so much
stats,
healing.
That's 60 HPS.
There you go, 60 HPS a second. Like, 60 HPS a second. 60, yeah, that's exactly what that means.
Yep. Well done, Jaws. Anyway, as we move into point A attack here, it will be Eagle Gaming coming out with that combination you discussed before, Jaws. It will be the Widowmaker backed up by the Mercy, and of course Nico on the Genji. He's going to have a Harmony Orb on, he's going to be diving deep. And here Copenhagen Flames, they're pretty intent to hold the door. They don't want to give up any space for free.
Yeah, but Heiko's almost gone down already. A nice Bionic Grenade from the back lines does secure the kill on Nico, and Heiko does get his health bar refilled as well.
Absolutely, and that's going to mean Tridd is quickly building up towards that nano boost as well. He's already 47, 48%. And Eagle Gaming, they need to be a bit more decisive on their engage here. They can't go in half-hearted, to be honest.
Yeah, half and half, no thank you. Getamaze almost getting taken down, gives it a little wiggle on the stick, and we'll be able to get out alive for the time being. Although, look at the back line, already a Bionic Grenade actually forced here. Does mean that the rest of Copenhagen Flames are actually going to dash into this small corridor. But the problem is, a Diva and a Monkey, they do a lot of damage in those spaces, and Flippy has got control of the outside.
Flippy's feeling very happy right now. We've seen both the tanks use their ability cooldown, so they're going to be unable to get onto him for a couple of seconds. Marinel's going to be the one picking up the slack, but now Diva's all over him. Poppy Fresh to the back.
Poppy Fresh is trying to just evade as much damage as he possibly can. He does take one shot, and the health pack actually gets taken away from him as well. Eagle Gaming and Flames, they do end up trading 2 for 2 here, but Flippy, he's got the backup of that Mercy, and he is not going to go down with that fight.
Didn't in that Pipu popped a Valkyrie, didn't even notice, and now Flippy is quickly moving up towards that Infra site as well. Soon he's going to be aware of where everyone on Copenhagen Flames is hiding, and oh, okay, Marine Lord giving Nico a little bit of surprise. Nico thought he was coming in for a pulse bomb, but he was actually taking a delivery.
Oh boy, can't sidestep a full right click. Unfortunately, Nico is going to go down, forcing a full reset from Eagle Gaming.
Oh, he actually used the pulse bomb. It's been reset.
Whoop. Whoops-a-daisy.
Unlucky, kid.
Unlucky. Although Hip does have the Transcenders coming up fairly soon as well, so they can use that actually to breach, but it's the same strategy they're doing time and time again. Speaking of Transcendences, that is exactly where Marine Lord is going to put his. Just push forwards. Counter Transcenders from Hip, though, as he built that up fairly fast, like I was talking about, but with Hip going down and with Flippy falling as well, does leave Eagle Gaming in this very tight corridor. Problem is, you've got to deal with that monkey, and you've got to deal with Get Amazed as well. Nox does get stuck, but instantly pops that Primal Rage to circumvent a lot of that damage. He might be able to get on the point here and get a couple of percent, but realistically, you are going to have to back off.
Indeed, Copenhagen Flames, however, have lost both of their support, so any damage taken is permanent. You've got to rely on those health packs. However, here comes a counter-attack from Copenhagen Flames. They're thirsty to get Nox here, but the healing is there, and so is the health pack. And now Eagle Gaming are going to be surging forward with that Lucio speed boost. Dreidro is going to be returning, however, on the Lucio. Yeah,
Flippy actually made a big play there. Heiko got demeked, and he instantly killed him, so no Diva for the time being. And now Naga's going to have to be the primary DPS. He finds Flippy across the map. Flippy wasn't even looking his direction, but now he's going to have to support his Zenyatta, who's just getting obliterated in the back line. Diva for Diva, but a pulse bomb from Nico slinged around the corner will sentence him to death.
Indeed, too many explosions to deal with for Naga, unfortunately, but Nox is going to be coming in, seeing if he can try his luck with Poppy Fresh. Poppy Fresh doing his best to try and get away with a Blinks, but no, it's going to be Hip who managed and ends up finishing that one off with a headshot.
50 seconds remaining. They are going to be able to touch the point now. We did peg this series as being extremely close, and that's exactly what they're showing us right now. They are going to touch. They're not giving this without a fight. Naga's going to unlock that tactical visor, but Flippy has his number, snipes him straight over the point. He will end up falling, and that ultimate being all but wasted.
Indeed, Hugo has to get in onto the point here, but it all looks like it's going to be for naught. Dreidro sacrificing his body. Skate, my friend, skate. You're not going to be lasting for long. There it goes for Cap on point A. Now point B has unlocked a quick swap here for Flippy. He's going to forgo the infra-sights. He's going to be moving over to the Soldier, but they're going to be sticking with the dive DPS here, and why not? Pippu very close to the sound barrier. Hippu also very close to the Transcendence. They're going to want to poke a little bit here, try and build up that ultimate bank. Make sure they've got both of their support ultimates before they can engage. They've got a really nice window here if they can try and force out Marine Lord's Transcendence.
Yeah, I do like when things come true, when we do say it at the start. Maybe he's going to actually set up on the high ground. That's a big self-destruct. It's actually going to take out Nico, one of the primary DPS for Eagle Gaming, the guy that is really just popping off at the time. Flippy actually got taken out also, and that's Get Amazed just chasing down these kills, just making sure they get the longest respawns possible. You're in a little bit of trouble there, my friend. Does end up using that leap to get away. But Get Amazed, unrelenting it seems. And actually, he's a little bit caught out instead. His Tracer has come to back him up. He's surviving somehow.
Nico
and in
killed
fact,
himself.
Chubbs is actually just going to take one for his team and actually get taken down himself.
Another unimpressive pulse bomb from Nico. This time he did get a kill, but it was himself, so that's unfortunate. And Eagle Gaming, they committed both of their support ultimates to that fight and gained nothing. That is absolutely pretty tragic if you're the French side. I'm surprised we're not seeing a swap up to an Ana or a Mercy here from Pippu. Looks like they want to make sure they still have the speed, try and make sure they can claim that high ground a little, while taking a little bit less poke as they come in. However, it's going to be Dreidro ready soon to lay down the poke. If he can get that nano and apply it to Chubbs, it'll be a nasty day for Eagle Gaming.
Naga extremely low. He's actually going to receive the Orb of Harmony here to stay alive. He's very, very happy to actually play frontline for the rest of his team. They send Hip extremely low, and a Gooper Stomp from Chubbs will actually take him down. Flippy's forced to retreat here as the Primal Rage and Winston's going to be able to secure the kill as well. Chubbs is just an absolute monster and a terrifying monster to deal with at that. Nico's going to have to go for a full reset here. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, though. They've got a lot to work with, and ultimates that are coming up soon. Flippy's got his tactical visor, but they just need to set up, which they haven't been able to do.
What kind of monsters aren't terrifying to deal with, Jaws?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'll look up later.
Anyway, Dreidro going to be coming in with the nano boost. Likely targets Chubbs and Naga. The question is, are we going to go for a little bit of a reminiscent of what we've seen early with Naga just coming out with a nano shuriken, just trying to bait out some support. However, there are none on the side of Eagle Gaming to bait out. It's going to be potentially just a very, very effective nano blade if he can get those pushes, or rather get those dashes in the right place.
To start out that fight, Flippy actually took a headshot from Marine Lord, so he did and go down instantaneously. There's nothing the rest of his team could do. Even Dreidro finding a kill onto Nox with that Barnet grenade just stops Eagles Gaming push once again. That one clean pick from Marine Lord just bought them another 20 seconds or so.
And now, Copenhagen Flames, I know they're going to be tracking the ults. They know that Flippy has this tactical visor. That means he is enemy number one for Naga. Ooh, hype, okay. Just the Alphas and Yada in the house today. Now it's going to be on the back of Naga to come in with this blade. Oh, but it's actually onto Chubb, so they may decide to combine this with the blade, but no, 2 kills already.
Poppy fresh as well, actually take out Pippi with the pulse bomb in the back lines also. Naga still has that blade for them to use as well, so Copenhagen Flames are in a really, really good position just to clean up this fight once again. Staggering their ultimates out, it's working absolute wonders for them. Double threat composition, apparently there's only one threat needed, and that's Chubbs when he's nano boosted.
Absolutely, and because Chubbs could deal so much damage with that nano boost, he's already built himself almost up to that promo rage again, sitting on 90% at the moment, and now Flippy is going to once again have the opportunity to lay down the tactical visor. He's got the Transcendence to support him should it be required, and Pippu almost there with the sound barrier, but with 40 seconds remaining, this is Eagle Gaming's last chance potentially.
He's had 2 minutes to set up this visor, but can he do it? Transcendence onto Naga just to make sure he can't use that Dragon Blade, but that's going to leave him a big opening. Yeah, indeed. He dashes through people, but the sound barrier is instantly going to come out to counter him once again. Forced out of the way completely. Nico finds himself asleep on the point. Not where you want to be when Marine Lord's got your number also. Naga's going to push forward onto Hype, and that is Mace getting demeched. Eagle Gaming completely routed here. There's nothing in their way. They are just getting massacred. Copenhagen Flames more than happy to take the fight to them.
Nico's coming around the side. He's almost got himself a pulse, and it's going to be blocked out by Chubbs. However, they've got their eyes on him. Oh, before he can touch the point, down he goes. And Copenhagen Flames, they've got a point on the board. We have a game on our hands, Jaws.
We do. We got a series on our hands. Legday 2-1 now in the favor of Eagle Gaming still. Tactical Visor took 2 minutes to set up. And it wasn't even used that effectively. I think
it wasn't even good.
It was exactly. It wasn't even good. Exactly that. It wasn't even decent. Now, what exactly went wrong there? It just seemed so scrambled, and it was so easy for Copenhagen Flames just to sit there and stagger, use one ult at a time. It was just so methodical.
Well, we're seeing the same thing we've seen on Hammer time and again, that everyone just keeps taking the same approach. You really want that soldier on the high ground, but you want it so much that you just aren't willing to swap up your comp when it isn't working. They spent like 4 minutes always going top right, top right, top right. Chubbs has killed us. Naga's killed us. We got picked by Marine Lord. And just one problem after another, and nothing ever went right in all the right ways to bring these pieces together.
Well, we'll have to see if they can bring those pieces together in our 4th map, which will be coming up very shortly. We'll see you guys in a sec. Hey guys, welcome back. We are midst of the series between Eagle Gaming and Copenhagen Flames. Eagle Gaming 2-1 right now, as we just saw Hanamura actually go over to Copenhagen.
Indeed, and that was their choice. They had their ideas on how to execute that, and ended up paying off. Eagle Gaming, they've shown before that they can play the Hanamura, won it against CIS Hope, of course, but not quite so lucky against Copenhagen Flames. And it looks like map number 4, the choice of Eagle Gaming, will be Dorado.
Yeah, no Junkertown, unfortunately. I know you were kind of hoping for it at one point, but Dorado is going to be the map. Makes sense when you look at both of the teams, realistically. We're looking at two heavy Widowmaker players that are more than happy to just stick on it for an entire round and make it work, and Flippy is one of those guys. This guy has kind of shown that his Widowmaker is not something you really want to mess with, especially when he gets the support for the rest of his team.
The great turnover for sequels here at Overwatch Contenders Europe, hoping for Widow Wars #2 here on Dorado between Flippy and Naga. Question is, who's going to win that one out? Flippy's looked pretty dominant thus far, but Naga hasn't had as much chance to play on the Widow.
No, not at all, really. I mean, we've seen him flex on some of the tanks. We saw the triple tank come in on the attack, and he was a Zaya in that regard. Did work out eventually for them, but I can imagine he was kind of itching to get on the Widowmaker. I know all of us are, realistically, when you go into comp, you're just like, can I have the Widowmaker? I know I can pop off. I know I can I know I can do well this game. Flippy, definitely one of those. Naga as well. I want to see if they're going to choose it on a defense here, because a little earlier on today, we've seen teams ever so slightly pull back away from it. It's very much an offensive pick, getting on that high ground and then just making sure everybody has something to fear when they do hold the bridge.
Absolutely. You've got to make sure that you control those sightlines of a Widowmaker. Make sure that people are more worried about you than they are about the rest of your team, because if they're focusing on you, well, then that means your second DPS can get them back and start wreaking some havoc.
Exactly that. And that person that was wreaking havoc was Nico for Eagle Gaming. And he's really come to shine, in all honesty. And I did mention a bit earlier on that they've played two different styles. Both one pocketing Nico and the other one just kind of letting him roam free with Nox. And him with a tank duo is just devastation. Nox really doesn't let go of his prey once he's actually on top of them. And Nico's very good at finishing up those kills.
Yeah, we saw some fantastic Winston mechanics from Nox on Hanamura point B defense. Despite them eventually losing that one out, they did manage to full hold, well, not full hold it, but they managed to hold point B at least. And that was sometimes off the back of Nox just being so effective on that Winston, making sure no one could come in without getting poked down, without feeling a little bit, they're scared for their lives. They don't want to try and poke out against these supports who could potentially take them down.
Exactly that. And one thing we got to mention as well is the fact that these teams do play each other a lot. They scrim a lot, and they have got a little bit of history to them as well. Copenhagen Flames actually finishing a little bit above Eagle Gaming when they did play
directly beating them.
And directly beating them 2-1, I believe, in their series also. Now, that's got to leave a little bit of a sour taste in Eagle Gaming's mouth, especially when they lose that last map. They were hoping to end the series right there. They were ready to just let it go, but Copenhagen Flames showing that, you know, all the practice and all the scrimmages they've had against them, there's no tricks that Eagle Gaming can pull that they can't snuff out.
Yeah, Eagle Gaming had their boot on the throat of Copenhagen Flames, but the energy was sent from across the world, or at least across Denmark and France combined, to make sure Copenhagen Flames could try and bring this one back, and now their hopes are alive. If they can win out here on Dorado, we are going to go to a tiebreaker map, which is Oasis. But first, you've got to go to Dorado and win that one out. And no mean feat when you're going up against Flippy.
Definitely not. Let's discuss Dorado a little bit more in depth as well. Let's have a look at what the potential picks are, because we know Naga's a big projectile player, but is he actually going to opt for something more dive-orientated? Because you're coming against Nox, right? And dive v dive, the 2-2-2 comps that we're seeing most of the teams run with at the moment, and that's kind of the standard compositions that we are seeing. It kind of makes sense to have Naga not in the air, but actually on the ground, to actually get onto the back line and just ignore Nox for the time being. Because Nox and Nico have fantastic prioritization. Even though when he's in the sky, there just seems to be an absolute ton of pressure on him, and he has to play so safe.
Absolutely. And one of the things about Nox and Nico, even though they have that perfect coordination, if they are diving, they can't be with the backline unless your backline's diving as well. But you'll rarely find us in Yada in that sort of brawling range. I know they like their kick kills, but not often for the dive. And that means that they're sort of exposed. And if you can get onto them, if you can sort of bypass Flippy, who's sort of like the gatekeeper towards the backline, taking chunks out of your health as you go in, you can try and clean up the supports of the French lineup.
Yeah, exactly that. But realistically, I think we are going to see him, especially on Dorado defense, because come on, why wouldn't you want to play it? There's so much cover for you to have, and there's a few nice rocket barrages. I know I've been caught out by a couple of rocket barrages myself in solo queue. You know, you take the payload under the bridge, and then you hear kind of the far jump jets, and you're like, I'm going to die. We're dead. There's absolutely no way. It does look like we are jumping to a quick break just before the game starts. We'll see you guys just a moment. It will be Dorado. Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Jaws, and Legday, joining for you for Eagle Gaming and Copenhagen Flames. At the moment, we're looking at Eagle Gaming in 2-1 in the series. This map will be the decider if we're going to go to Game 5, or will Eagle Game just take it right here, right now?
Well, they're certainly going to be looking to take it with that 3-1 victory. Of course, the tiebreaker maps don't count towards your map win score at the end when we're determining seeding for playoffs. So you are always going to come out with 2. If we go to tiebreaker, you're going to come out with 2 map wins. So that's nice for both teams. But of course, Eagle Game, if they want 3 map wins and they want the big win, of course, in the column there as we move up towards playoffs. Question is, what are they going to do on Dorado to bring that to the fore? And we know they're a very strong dive team. Dorado, it's point B. We've seen it notoriously hard to crack thus far today, and I think that they maybe have the dive to do it.
Yeah, that has been the big question, actually, and the big problem for a lot of these teams, the diving on second point. No one can seem to do it. We're seeing people trading off... I mean, we're seeing people trading off tracers to get rid of the pulse bomb to jump on widows. I mean, realistically, that's not what you want to do when you've got an ultimate available to you. We'll look at some quick highlights, though, as we do get into the game. One of the players did have a couple of connection issues, but he should be getting those sorted any moment now, so we will be into game very shortly. But you can see Nico here just taking over the last point, and Flippy as well. And this DPS duo, both of them have the ability to pop off, and that is what is so scary. The history that Nico does have on Rogue and the experience he does bring to the team really does shine in these moments where it is just so clutch for them to just hold out these points. It's not often we actually see a full second hold. Normally it does just tick into overtime, but both teams getting it to about 50% each.
And in my belief, this combination of Genji and Widowmaker is probably one of the best compositions you can have to try and assault the top of Dorado B, which is incredibly, as we discussed, difficult to try and dislodge people from, especially if you're running a Tracer, because Tracer's pretty good in that sort of brawl, but you can't really get the verticality easily. You've got to make a bit of a commute every time you respawn to try and get back up there.
And on the screen right now as well, you can see Map B, Group B, not Map B. You'll see the match wins that Copenhagen Flames do have. They played Young and Beautiful last week, and they went 4-0. So they're sitting high and dry in the first place right now. Eagle Gaming, they did win their series last week, but they only got 2 map wins. So like you were mentioning, it's all important to win every single map you can, as that Oasis map, that last one, does not count towards your map score.
Absolutely, but it does count towards your wins, so you're going to want to bring it all out there because, of course, it's always the most exciting map as well. You've been playing for so long, you're feeling weary, you're potentially feeling fatigued as well, but what you're definitely feeling is nice and festive as we join the festivities in the market of Dorado.
Oh boy, Eagle Gaming, they're ready and willing to take this one. They want to be able to find the end of the series right here. Copenhagen Flames, however, they want to be able to take this to a map number 5. Eagle Gaming on the defense to start us off with. Now, Nico, Flippy, what do you play? Flippy's not going to play Torb. He's been hovering it for the longest time. I'm sure his team are a little bit wary of his Torbjorn if he's hovering it this much. Maybe he's just making a little bit of fun of them.
It's a bit of a commute to the ocean if he wants to throw himself off like he did on Nambani, though.
That's very true. I mean, he's still on it. I mean, he's got a lot of time. It's 40 seconds. He can easily get there as a Widow. But regardless of that, and I can imagine Hip isn't actually going to stick on the Hanzo either. But yeah, there you go. Flippy changing over to the Widowmaker in the end. So it's kind of a classic composition from Eagle Gaming from what we're seeing. Even Pipio not deciding to go into this Lucio to escort people to the lower. He's actually going to go on the Ana to give that burst healing with the grenade and actually support his tanks and Nico from afar.
Flashbacks to Nambani here, of course. We're going to see Flippy, Hype, and Pipio all making their little buddy, their circle of 3, all healing each other, supporting each other, laying down a huge amount of damage. And Eagle Gaming, their defense here is all about playing sightlines. They need to play where Pipio can heal them, where Hype can get the orb on them, when Flippy can lay down the covering fire. If they're able to do that, then they'll be able to win out these tank battles pretty easily, unless they get caught unawares by Poppy Fresh on this Bastion. He's got Chubbs in front of him, he's got a double shield. The question is, what can they do with it?
Well, they said they were going to bring out a couple of surprises, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're creating a house for the Bastion. Poppy Fresh is more than safe in between a Reinhardt and Orisa. Those tanks are going to get drawn off the edge as well. Poppy Fresh in a lot of trouble, though. That healing wasn't quite enough, and Nico in the back line takes out Marine Lord and Poppy Fresh. That is going to signal the end of that push. Do they stick on it? That's the question. You normally see teams just switch off as soon as it doesn't work, but they're still sticking with that Orisa, although Naga did just get headshotted by Flippy.
Indeed, for Reinhardt and Orisa aren't really great for brawling once a fight breaks down. You've got to be able to keep your Bastion safe because he does all the damage, but unfortunately it was Nico who managed to find his way, crack that safety egg, and he's already earned himself a pulse bomb. And knowing that pulse bomb's on the field, Copenhagen Flames are going to have to swap off now because they just can't get to the cart without being just destroyed on the way.
No one can
Well,
hide.
name a better couple, I'll wait. That Infosight and the Pulse Bomb. So Nico knows exactly where the high priority targets are. Naga knows that's happening though, and he's still willing to take the flight. The Pulse Bomb actually used also. Flippy found the headshot, but he was already dead. So Nico using that Pulse Bomb a little bit more readily.
It's about sending a message,
Yeah,
Jules.
I guess so. He's using it a little bit more readily than he'd have hoped there.
You need to communicate your targets. A headshot them. Don't tell Nico to lay down the pulse bomb. He's just going rogue. And now we see the Tracer duel going on the back. It's going to be Nico versus Poppy Fresh. But of course, Nico can go back and get that healing from his supports. And that's what's so important about playing sightlines here on the first point of Dorado defense.
It's only going to build up that nano boost, which is going to get unleashed now as well. Nico does find the one clip, and Marine Lord ends up falling. And now he's just going to have an absolute field day with the help of Nox. We spoke about how good they were as a diving duo. Nox not really making use of that nano boost, though. Didn't find any damage, really. Had to actually back off as that Valkyrie was popped on the side of Copenhagen Flames. Naga gets taken out by Nox in the end, but Flippy is going to have to make a very, very sharp retreat. Even Heiko getting slept up on there. So one Sleepy Diva means one dead mech.
On Sleepy Diva, and now two Transcendences are going to be in session here.
And they will, although that self-destruct not been used by Getamaze just yet. That Arda grenade as well is so impactful when the Transcendence goes off, but Mako is going to be able to take out Getamaze as he was trying to remech after that self-destruct. Flippy in a lot of trouble also, working towards that second Infosight, but it just gets run down and obliterated at the sight of it all.
Indeed, Pippi manages to lay down the Bardic Grenade at the last and make sure Chubbs can't take healing for a little bit longer. However, he's not going to fall in that specific time frame, and now Dreedra is going to be using that little disparity of health to make sure he can build up towards that Valkyrie, which he almost has. 90% here. Naga has lain down the Infosights. Both of the teams can see everyone else. Everyone knows where everyone is, and they've caught out Hype already.
That is a horrible situation to be in. Flippy just trying to find Nico. He finds the headshot, in fact. Has to back off, however. That will be Naga winning out that duel at 1v1. Poppy Fresh is going to be there just cleaning up the rest of the fight. That Infosight just laying it down, and you have to push in as well. There was nothing Pippu could do. He needed to support his tanks, but got eliminated first.
Indeed. However, Pippu has built up the nano boost, so it's not all doom and gloom if you happen to be the Ana. And now Nox is going to be the likely recipient of that, I imagine. Can't see it going on to Nico. The nano trace, a little bit of a speciality over in the Asian Overwatch regions, in Korea and China, that's often. And already in comes the Valkyrie from Dreedro.
Well, the nano boost did get used, and it was actually on Nox, but he just got focused straight out there. Poppy Fresh didn't land the pulse bomb, but it didn't seem to matter whatsoever. Primal race to make sure that he can stay alive. Chubbs does manage to get out of there, but all this time they are pushing the cart, forcing people in these rooms. Poppy Fresh, this is just an ult bank for him here, just firing just into the room, just charging his ult so quickly, already on 40% again. Flippy just can't make anything worse because everybody is in the house. As soon as they stepped out, however, they do end up getting taken out.
Indeed, go out of the door, and a little bit of a visitor at the door. It was Flippy with the headshot, and here comes a resurrection courtesy of Dreedra. It's going to be Heiko coming through, and now Naga has to try and lay down the covering fire, make sure that Flippy isn't feeling nice and comfortable up here, but the tanks need to get on him soon, and there they are.
Yep. Oh, a little turn away there
turn.
just to make sure he doesn't get headshotted as soon as he jumped up. Flippy will end up backing off here, and that'll be Nico with the call out. Does manage to pick up Chubbs. So they are lost a tank, but Nico will fall as well. It's all about demeching the Heiko. They do find him, but he won't go down without a fight. There's the Transcendence to keep Getamaze alive, but he's already out of mech. Flippy, this is all on to you now. You have to be able to do something, but that dashing Tracer, you're going to have to get out the way of that, because Poppy Fresh, he had your number last time around, and oh boy, he's going to hit the redial button.
Indeed, now Naga and Flippy have found each other. We have seen exchanged pulse bombs and exchanged kills. Support's falling on both sides now, but it's Naga going in for the 1v1 with Getamaze, and he's having to retreat away.
That he is. Can't quite click on Flippy's head either. Does have that Infosight. Looks like maybe a reset here from Eagle Gaming. They are going to be able to clean up the rest of the fight, so it's up to Copenhagen Flames now to make their entry frag. Now, 2 Infosights available, 1 for each team. As soon as they pop those, they know exactly where they are.
Luckily, though, for the remainder of the teams, neither Tracer has the Pulse Bomb, which of course combines with those Infosights so well. Simultaneous poppings of those there, so now everyone knows where everyone else is, and it's going to mean that Eagle Gaming are ready to receive any dive coming in from Copenhagen Flames.
Oh, Naga. Takes out Flippy. I think that's about 1 apiece so far on the War of the Widows. Heiko using that support of that Mercy to make sure he can stay alive. A Discord Orb on the Primal Rage and Winston. He's going to fall very, very quickly, but still Chubbs managing to find one. Even Marine Lord taking out Nico. That's a free cart. If I ever did see one, Copenhagen Flames are going to be able to escort it a few more percentages.
Indeed, but they have made the commute to the cart. They have given up the high ground in that. So that means that Flippy, when he respawns here, is going to be able to move in onto the high ground and have a little bit of a monopoly over that. How the in comes a self-destruct towards the cart. Will he be able to claim anyone?
There's too many things standing in their way, so they're easily able to retreat. Discord Orb onto Chubbs. Now be Nico following them up. Pulse Bomb gets laid out, but a nice dodge by Marine Lord to get out of the way. The Get Amaze does get demeched, and that'll be Heiko with a double self-destruct, including the demech. Naga's going to clean everybody else up as well. Copenhagen Flames moving it to checkpoint 2.
Absolutely. The entire kill feed looking pretty red at the moment. You're going to feel rather good about that if you're Copenhagen Flames, but you wouldn't feel that good about this time bank, really, because they've got only 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's not a lot to get through the final point of... Oh, okay. See you, Nico. Naga's just hammering the point home, but so is Flippy. Oh, my.
Couple of orbs and a body shot. That was Naga said and done. Poppy Fresh being a little bit cheeky, trying to get a bit of extra charge, but look at where Eagle Gaming are actually positioned right now. Sound barrier has been used as they do drop down through that vent. Nox is going to have to find something here, at least a little opening, but he's going to have to retreat. That Transcendence plus the Valkyrie just means that everybody on the side of Copenhagen Flames is basically invincible. Will end up falling. Heiko finding 2. Nico trying to find the back line, but Discord Orb and a boot will send him packing as well.
Indeed, Marine Lord getting the pocket there, but that did mean Drew couldn't get as much value out of a Valkyrie as he would like. You couldn't get those split beams on your teammates because, of course, Marine Lord and Drew were isolated up against Nico. They did eventually win out that duel, but now Poppy Fresh ready to come in with a pulse on. Nox may be his primary target here.
Oh, Poppy Fresh, you're going to have to be careful. There's a spawn door on the left-hand side as well. Flippy changing over to the Sombra to get some instant effect. Poppy Fresh almost kills himself with his own bomb, but that's a Primal Raging Windsman in amongst the chaos. Copenhagen Flames, they're going to have to retreat away from that self-destruct, but Get Amaze just trying to reconvene on the cart, make sure they can stabilize this fight, and they've done just that.
Indeed, Flippy once again moving over to the emergency Sombra and already picking up 2 kills to his name. 10 seconds remaining here for Copenhagen Flames. The only ult in the bank is going to be the self-destruct.
That it will, but are they going to be able to touch it? I don't think they can. Heiko, Poppy Fresh, they are charging in. Self-destructs over, doesn't quite find the slam dunk. Poppy Fresh has to go for that rewind as well. Nice lot of armor on the Winston will help him keep alive for very long time, but Marine Lord going down, and that's a big source of healing and a big ult if he could find it also. Poppy Fresh gets hacked, Flippy takes him out, and they are just sending lambs to the slaughter now. Overtime's ticking through, and that should be the end of Copenhagen Flames' push.
Indeed, not quite the 3 points, but 2 points and the 76 meters. You're not going to be too disappointed with that. Maybe they can hold them on any of the points of Dorado. All points of Dorado are incredibly defensible. We've seen holds all across the map, all across Contenders.
So a horrible map to offense. But if anybody can do it, you got to pin it on Eagle Gaming and their ability to dive. They're 2-2-2, a little bit more superior than Copenhagen Flames. But for Copenhagen Flames, it is their ability to flex and it's their ability to actually get around and circumvent Nico's damage.
Absolutely. They're being so good about taking these different angles where Flippy's sort of not expecting them. And that's really hard when Flippy has Infrasight up as much as he does. You know exactly where they're going to come from most of the time when that's available, because you see the big red blocks?
The big outlines of people, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You see the big red outlines of people, so you know exactly where they're going to come from, you know where they're going to dive, and of course you can try and hit them as they're coming in as well, so that the second they come in, they want to retreat because they're so low on health. And you've got to do some significant tech as tanks to try and mitigate that. You've got your defense matrix, and what we saw from Chubbs, a great example of, is trying to do that sort of spin in the air as Winston, so you can't get headshot as you come in.
Yeah, but it was Flippy really just opening that second point up. We saw the whole of Eagle Gaming kind of forced into the room. It was just a bit of a, okay, now we can't really have Flippy popping off, but he was just happy there. He was sitting waiting for people to just trail out. We saw a Mini Diva headshot, saw a Lucia headshot. Like, doesn't matter who it is, they're going to get taken out pretty quickly. And the thing with that as well was the fact that Poppy Fresh just had so much time to maneuver, and he is very hard to pin down. But if you're not dealing with Flippy, he is the main problem for that team. We said it was the Flippy Naga show, and it's really showing that right now.
Yeah, I imagine Flippy was being pretty PMA in the comments. They were like, oh, we're getting slaughtered in this room. It's just a massacre. It's like, thanks for the distraction, guys. Look at me go.
Exactly that. And I think it's about 1 apiece right now for Naga and Flippy. We'll call it 1 apiece. I've lost track. I'll review the VODs later and actually tally it up somewhere.
Yeah, we'll have a count.
Yeah, it honestly has. Contenders, especially this week specifically, we've only just started as well. It has been the War of the Widows, which is quite an adequate name. If we find another hero next week, it'll be like the War of something else, and every single week can have a kind of a theme.
The Tracer Trials.
The Tracer Trials, yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll see Leaf pick up the Doomfist at one point, then we'll have Doomfist dominance or something.
Yeah, bit of Winston wrestling. That's probably illegal.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he's quite intelligent. I mean, I'm not sure he'd resort to that much violence, in all honesty, even though he does zap people with the Tesla cannon.
Oh yeah, he's a bit of a meanie for a nice guy.
He is a pretty nice guy, but you know, you got to protect your friends, you got to protect your allies. So that's why he does it.
It involves harnessing the power of lightning from a hand cannon and racking your enemy's nervous systems with it. Then all the more glory to you, you fantastic scientist gorilla.
Copenhagen Flames now on the defense. Naga doing what we kind of expected him to do, and you kind of expected Flippy to do as well. Hold this Widow, and we'll see where he does actually want to position, because we did see Flippy being rather aggressive with it. He was very, very forceful with where he wanted to kind of place himself, and Naga not really seeming to doing the same thing. He's actually holding the market area.
Well, you see Naga try and hold this maybe in 2 tiers. Like, he'll try and play around the choke, see if he can get any pickoffs through that archway, and then he's going to move back up to the further archway where you initially finish point A, so that he has that sort of like commanding view over the marketplace. But the question is, what can Copenhagen Flames do to try and contest this before it gets to the archway? It looks like they're going to forgo this entire starting road area, which often you can buy minutes on in a defense.
That you can, and that is all to play around Naga as well, you got to imagine. He's actually up in the building just to the left-hand side, or the right-hand side if you're playing on Copenhagen Flames' side. Trying to find some headshots over the side of the stalls, but can't quite find anything. Beautiful sightlines though, but it does require the cart to actually move up that hill for him to actually pin anybody down. You can see they've just pushed it here, and it was actually contested by Nico and Poppy Fresh, and the tanks now looking for this flank.
Indeed. Chubbs smartly playing around the corner here, making sure he's not going to be found in Flippy's sightlines, but now Flippy's trying to move around. He's being rotated with his supports, and already Naga's gone down courtesy of Hip.
However, Dezachu is actually going to get the res here, so that's actually going to be fairly important. If you make a pick-off and it's in the back lines, that's an easy res for the Mercy. He's got a lot of time to move here and a lot of space to maneuver as well. Doesn't quite find the slingshot headshot, but Nico finding the DMAC on Heiko is going to make sure that Mech isn't going to be absorbing any more shots. Look at this now. Dezachu having to go back behind the gate to help Naga out.
Indeed, Naga not quite getting where he wanted to go with that grapple potentially, and now everyone from Eagle Gaming is just going to be concentrating on the cart. 1.7 meters remaining until it goes into the first, and they're getting so many kills just here. No one's there to try and contest this, Jaws, and already 5 minutes left on the clock for stage 2.
That was all Dezachu actually. And in fact, no, it was all Nox actually. Just forcing himself onto Naga and making sure Dezachu is actually with him instead. Don't want to get the Widowmaker down because he's one of our playmakers. We have to make sure he's safe. And that's lack of healing on the point just meant Eagle Gaming could just walk it in.
Absolutely. When Dezachu's back there trying to support Naga, you're just going to lose out the tank battle in terms of a healing available, especially if there's a Discord orb. That paltry 30 healing per second from the Harmony orb will not save you for long if you're a Winston with a big old hitbox. And now, it's going to be a little bit of a high ground control here from Copenhagen Flames. Already, Nico going down to Poppy Fresh in the back. That's a good start, but now Poppy Fresh has got his work cut out for him.
Oh, post bomb onto the floor. Doesn't quite find it, but he forces the supports into the church. Poppy Fresh takes out Pipu, but Flippy wins the Widow War for the time being. Naga ends up going down, and now it's very easy for Poppy Fresh to find himself on that back line. D.Va has so many things to worry about. She is going to get healed up, but Hip, he's not going to have the same treatment. Transcendence used, and Flippy actually going to get aggressed on here by the enemy D.Va, as he is going to be able to poke his little head out, but the elevation is just not there. He gets forced out completely and just taken down by Chubbs.
And here comes a Valkyrie from Dezachu and Pipu. Everyone's feeling all of the healing and the damage boost right now. Poppy Fresh, he's got his eyes on the supports, and he's got his eyes on Pipu as well, but he's falling to the Heiko aerial combat, my friend.
Yeah, he got taken down so low because the Tracer was pounding him, and then the Winston was using the Tesla cannon. The HP per second just wasn't enough to save him, and that'll be Copenhagen Flames just cleaning up the rest of the fight.
Indeed, 25 HPS, that's all you get from Valkyrie. That's your base regeneration that doesn't stop when you're in combat while Valkyrie is occurring. However, not enough to save you, as you said, from the 3 sources of damage coming in, and now Naga once again is going to be setting up on the high ground, wants to try and get his revenge on Flippy here, but he's got to be really cautious in case Flippy decides to take a little detour around that right-hand side. As you can see, he's checking it. He's very, very cautious, a little bit trepidatious, but now he knows where Flippy is, and he's going to try and win out the duel.
And he is, but there's a lot of healing. There comes the dive. It was going to be sometime soon. They need to be able to push this cart under the hill, under the bridge, I should say. No hills in sight. Self-destruct gets unleashed. Oh, wrong place, wrong time. Hib is going to go down, but that might just be a resurrection coming out from Pipu, although Naga is going to find Nox. Flippy finding his way into the back line here. He finds one shot onto the Zenyatta, but he's immediately snuffed out, and that'll be Eagle Gaming now on the retreat.
Absolutely. When you're facing down for Zenyatta, for Mercy, and for Widowmaker, you're gonna get I'll wait. I'll wait for the rest of my team. We'll wait for a distraction because I don't want to take that fight personally.
Absolutely not. And with that Infosight, you're going to have to be even more careful now. Naga activating that at the appropriate time as soon as everybody is trying to make their entrance. He's got the sight set on you, Mercy. You don't want to do it. Even the Zen, Hip is just ready for him to come through the door. The tanks do dive up to make sure they can actually provide the healing they need and get under the cover they provide as well.
And that was great play there from Nox. He made sure that Naga had no sightlines on the supports as they entered here, and the supports could move into somewhere they had a little bit more cover.
There's the Valkyrie straight on and forcing the Transcendence out from Copenhagen Flames. They are going to get onto that card to make sure everybody stays alive, but double support ults just means everybody is absolutely immortal. Decimation will occur as soon as those go down, though, when Poppy Fresh gets on the back line. However, Gedame still moving the cart. 3 members going, but Copenhagen Flames are just picking them off one by one by one. Flippy is going to fall here, and that will leave Naga actually a lot of room to maneuver. You can see him just landing 3 shots over and over again. This is his playground to move in.
Was once such a reassuringly weighty 5-minute time bank, Jaws has quickly diminished. We're now sitting on 1 minute and 10 seconds to Eagle Gaming's name as they try to make their way through point B of Dorado here. They're moving in towards quite a few ults here. No one's below 50%. Pipu's about to join them up there in the high charges. But Copenhagen Flames, they're going to be ready with the Infosight. We're going to know exactly what's coming and from where.
He's building up so quickly. It seems like every single fight he initially has it. Hib, hang on a second, Naga actually just goes down to it looks like a fully charged right click, and now Nico's having the 1v1 with Poppy Fresh, but he's cheating. He's got the Discord orb on him. Nico's going to be able to make sure he is forced away, even as the Pulse Bomb available, but that healing from the Transcendence will make sure he keeps himself alive. He's dodging around that van, making sure he can actually take down the tanks. That's a stick onto the Winston. That's pretty big, but he ends up killing himself. A 1-for-1 trade to start off the fight, but Hip is going to go down also. That's the power of Mercy. You mentioned it earlier, just making sure those tanks stay alive. Copenhagen Flames, they're refusing to give this one up.
And now it's all hands on deck for the French squad. 15 seconds remaining. Get Amazed has fallen. Probably in that little mini diva form as they tried to get in there and trigger overtime, but now 9 seconds remain. Will they be able to use their movement abilities to get in here? Trigger the overtime. Already Poppy Fresh giving him a bit of a welcome gift, courtesy of a pulse bomb.
He was flirting with it. He was ducking around the corner, make sure he could find the sight lines. That's the Primal Rage already activated, and Flippy wins the War of the Widows. Hip's actually going to find Poppy Fresh as well. Pipu just keeping everybody alive in the skies, and actually Hip, this guy's popping off. He's a mad lad, just trying to find as much as he can. Who said Zenyatta's a healer? He's a DPS. Even Get Amazed is going to take out Tridro. Eagle Gaming refusing to give this one up as well. They're going to be able to cap this second point, and they still have the Pulse Bomb available.
Hip's had enough of Harmony. He's all about this. Oh, okay. See you, Marine Lord. A little bit of a bad spawn. And don't worry, Flippy's here. He's going to give you a quick taxi service back to the remainder of your team. However, 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining on the clock. Once again, Eagle Gaming are going to be dancing on the knife's edge as they move forward here into an incredibly defensible point C of Dorado. However, they do have the high ground advantage here because of those early picks, and that may well serve them.
Flippy refusing to change off this Widowmaker, actually gets punished for it. You can see Copenhagen Flames running Naga on the Genji this time instead. 55 seconds remaining, and Poppy Fresh is actually cleaning up the rest of the team. Pipu didn't really stand a chance. They're moving as a death ball, and that death ball has succeeded in rolling down the hill. That is Eagle Gaming. Now,
Hip's in trouble.
Hip is not in trouble at all, my friend. He is just taking heads left, right, and center. Poppy Fresh is going to fall. Isn't going to create a massive stagger, but still, that's still 1 member down.
Yeah, Hip, I thought he was in trouble, but
absolutely not, he says.
He had Poppy Fresh right where he wanted him, evidently, and now Flippy has swapped over from the Widow onto the Sombra, looking to get off a couple of hacks towards the end of this here. The payload is in motion. Copenhagen Flames need to get down and contest it. There goes the first of the many hacks to come.
Self-destruct comes out. No one really found to for the time being, although the Transcendence was popped fairly early for Eagle Gaming. Flippy trying to find someone in the back line. That hack was so crucial, but he needs to be able to find it on the Diva to make sure they can get past that defensive matrix. Another self-destruct gets launched into orbit, but doesn't find anybody just yet, although, yes, I lie. Heiko's mech does end up getting taken out. Pipu's just darting around the fight. This guy is unstoppable. He's just providing so much healing and pressure for his team. And Flippy with the Sombra, a speciality from him on the last point of Dorado, is going to find the hack on Tracer. Get a Mace is going to get taken down, and that'll be Eagle Gaming taking the series 3-1.
The last moment, the last hope, and the last dreams of a French squad finally coming to be realized here on Dorado as they take the series 3-1. It was very scary for a while there, though.
That it was, and Eagle Gaming haven't even showed the true flex of their roster yet either. These guys have been running the same roster 2 weeks in a row.
Do you think we're going to see the other 6?
I hope so at one point, at least.
Just come out with a full other roster.
Exactly.
No one knows what to expect.
Well, they said they were going to have a lot of surprises coming into this week. Bastion was not something I kind of put it to on Copenhagen Flames, because they too also said that they had a lot of surprises. These teams are well versed at playing against each other, but Eagle Gaming this time around, they get actually revenge on Copenhagen Flames.
Absolutely. You may have taken us down in pit, but when it really matters over an Overwatch Contenders, we're going to take the upper hand, take it home 3-1.
Exactly that. And Flippy, Naga, they were the Widowmakers to watch, and it was the War of the Widows, and it was pretty much even at the end of that one. And I like the ability for Naga to quickly switch up on the Genji, in all honesty. This guy's got such a massive hero pool, and you can really see it shine.
Absolutely. All the DPS turned up today, to be honest. Poppy Fresh and Nico, Flippy and Naga. All coming together. Every
single DPS all fit in the pieces of the puzzle, but this time around there are no missing pieces in Eagle Gaming's puzzle. They take the series 3-1, and that'll be them with a big smile on their face. 3 people that do have a big smile on their face as well after that series. It'll be Dez and Tridd and Sam.